Okay, we're live. Anybody's over there in Twitter or in YouTube, type, say hi, like, retweet, whatever, restack if you're on Substack. And let me just put the WAP link in also. Now I also got something on WAP. If I can find it. Yeah, screen. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so here we are, top of the chop zone. We kind of overcut and reclaimed a little bit. There's been a lot of activity locally in this whole area, buying and selling. We started out the day with market maker long gamma up here in the 90-95 area, and then there's been buying and selling there. I sold some calls up in the 90-95 area near the open, and I kind of closed them, break even, little profit, little loss. I didn't really watch that closely, and then kind of rolled up higher and just kind of closed those out. Puts I sold way down near 25 and lower, so those were stealing, so to speak. And now let's see where we are. So here's we are. Here's where we are on the chart. We had a pivot at 70. We broke over that. That was market maker long call, market maker short calls that we talked about in the morning. And since then, that's kind of where we've been. What's this? That was Wednesday. That's today. Where was that when that happened? Oh, 9 a.m. That was before the open. Okay. Yeah, once we kind of got over this pivot, we undercut it once or twice briefly. And here we are. So, of course, we're playing pinball. So, let's see what people think we're going to pin. That's kind of the object of the game. Okay, so now let's look at this is market maker gamma. So here, okay, look at this. All long over here. Market maker short, customer long. Looks like right, looks like as of now, individuals and algos have been kind of gunning for this. Now you see these. I don't know if you can see if you can see the tails here. The tails here mean that at different points during the day, customers were short here and long here, back and forth. The 6500s came in around 10:30. There might have been some before that, or yeah, around then, and that's been there like a rock. This trade here, the 6440, 6405, I think it was, in size, came in around 10:30, and that just set the edges. Like I say in my note, these trades come in and set the edges for the day. And so, yes, VIX is low, 15, and all that stuff. But what's the big money doing? whoever it is, 5, 10,000 contracts, that's bigger than me. They're selling, they're selling premium anyway. So just take that under advisement. All right. So now the question is, where do we pin? And I said in the voice room, and I might have tweeted or chat, the setup favored a natural decay upward, but that was when we were at 71, 72, 7, going up and down there at 75. I'm not sure what the decay favors now, but we'll take a look. Let's take a look. And to do that, we're going to go, first we'll go to depth view, which shows us just the raw numbers of positions, what I like to look at. So you have 2,000 long calls here at 64.90. These are all long. uh, These are long puts to 70s. Those people are kind of toast. These are long puts at 75. Now that could get interesting. You can certainly pull us down there. So here's where the battle zone is, right here. We got 2,500-ish long puts, and same, only about 1,000 long calls, and about 1,200 long puts. So the put people are putting their money where their mouth is, right here, 64.80. And we got calls up here at 64.90. How cheap are those? Or 85s? Let's take a peek. Whoops, you're not supposed to see that. Let me, I want to just change something, so hold on. I don't think that showed my account number anyway, though. I think they have it like blocked out, so you can only see the last few numbers. But they tell me it's better to be prudent. Okay. And this was a trade I put in, I don't even remember when, playing around the JP Morgan collar 6505. It's a condor structure. Long, so rather than a flyer, it's a condor. I just like that. It gives me a little more flexibility. All right, so let's just see if there's any lottos here. That's a pretty cheap lotto right here. Buck 85, buck. Yeah, these were much cheaper before. How much is this lotto? That's an 80-cent lotto. If I can get filled with that, I'll take it. Whoops, wrong account. Eh, price already ran away from me. And what made me take that? And again, I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. Just let's talk about the thinking. At 80, the calls and the puts kind of net out. We got these 90s, these calls up here. They're going to kind of pull us up. We got these puts down here. The longer these stubborn people hold them, the more they decay, pushing us up. Now let's zoom in here. We got this whole So here's the 70. Here's where those long puts are. Here's 85 that we really kind of have to get over. So 80 is probably, or 75 is probably a better percentage setup. I think I might cancel that order for now and think to revisit it. Let's cancel that for now. No, let's go back to it. Similar order. Hey, I'm willing to try $80 on that. These 85s are cheap, but so are the 80 puts. So it just depends on where the algos want to go. I'm just thinking that we kind of get some lift from whatever decays down here. And that's pretty much speculation at this point. So here's position number. Plus this 85. 85, we have market makers short. We might have a path to 90, we just might. Now, if we change this to gamma, especially at the end of the day, see, we're all in this. But we have a little bit of decay flows from up here, but these are kind of far out of the money, so there's not much to decay from here. Let me go on my other computer and check something. I got a new BFF Nasdaq killer who's watching. So, and he's like a lot of people in the on the gamma landscape now. A lot of people come from trading futures, and now they're hearing that this gives an edge because it does, and they're trying to like learn the gamma thing. So, quick review for everybody. I'm sure a lot of you know, and a lot of you are just kind of getting your feet wet in it. There's a wide variation. So we'll start with the basics. Here's here's where market makers are long. So that's positive gamma, quote unquote. Market makers are long gamma, positive gamma. So as price goes up to these bars, they sell. But as price moves away from it, they buy. Remember, it goes in the opposite direction of the move. That happens on both sides of the equation, not just one. Not just pretending this is totally in isolation. To the downside, same story. Against the direction of the move. As we go down, they buy. But as we move away, they sell. That's why you often get these centroids. You're welcome. That's why you often get the center between these two, and we kind of bounce between them. Now, what's interesting here is we usually don't have a stack of market makers short, so negative gamma technically. I know people, a lot of services talk about we're in positive gamma or we're in negative gamma. And yes, market makers are broadly long gamma. However, that doesn't have a lot to do with how they're going to hedge this strike today in the next 20 minutes or this strike today in the next 10 minutes. So that's just something, that a nuance that people new to the gamma space should be familiar with. Okay, so so yes, we are in positive gamma, but this is negative gamma right here. This is negative gamma right here. This is positive gamma here. But when we say we are in positive gamma, the regime, well, here's tomorrow, upcoming day. Lots of positive gamma up here. We have positive gamma here, light colored, but mostly positive gamma. But why do we have those big red these big red, they're coming up, those big red clouds that I showed you before? Because gamma is greatest, closest to spot and closest to expiration. Now we got a lot of contracts right here expiring today in 17 minutes. They have than a lot more gamma, meaning market makers are exposed and they require delta hedging to hedge out their deltas neutral, which is their job, is what gamma tells us. So yeah, we have all this stuff tomorrow, and it looks like for tomorrow we got a fair amount of sold calls now. People aren't convinced. Nobody's scared. And tomorrow, gamma is broadly positive. Actually, it looks like they're selling all over the place. Small numbers, but selling. You got some wise guy with 6420 long puts over here and some short calls. You got 6390 below 6400, which is right about the expected move. Here was the weekly expected move from last week to this week. The red line is the bottom. And so we've just been grinding within the expected move, weekly expected move. When I sell iron conduits out in time, I kind of like to use this as a first part of my roadmap or goalposts. And then I'm going to look at the local gamma around it, above or below. And that's how I do it. I only took one scalp today, I think, or I don't remember what it was. It was 75, an 80, 85, or 80, 90, or something like that, call debit spread. I closed at a small profit. I didn't really have the patience to sit there and mess with it. All right, so let's relocate ourselves. So here I was just looking at volatility. We're above the chop zone. And so, did I get filled on that fly? No, see that? Now it's a buck 30. It was 85, 80, 90. This happened to me yesterday. I tried to save 5 cents and I lose the potential for whatever went away. Note to self, pay 5 cents above the mid on these. Might still get filled here, but no, because I'm not going to get the premium on this I would have gotten before. Now it's just basically a fancy debit spread. Think of it as a 1 by 2 ratio, really. Long one, short two, 1 by 2 ratio. Okay, so that trade ran away from me. So where's my pinball players? I don't see the usual suspects. Usually the usual suspects are telling me where they think it's going to go. Oh, and you know what? Let me see something else. Let's see something else. These are the Binkus levels into the close at 3 o'clock. This was what this is. These are volatility bands. This is based on volatility. And he usually says give it a few points tolerance for error. That puts us right at the 85 pin based on my brother's thing. 82 pin. That actually, I'm kind of looking for something like that now. 70. Oh my God. So if it's an 82 pin, there's an 80 center here. Let's see if we can get that one. Oh, can't get that one either. If we go to 82, right, we want to be long the 85 and short the 80s. If we go above 85, we want to be long. Okay, which one filled the puts? Okay, TT, this one is for you. So if it's 82, we should get. I'll just put it in for $2 to close and see what happens. Okay, send me your Swiss bank account number and I'll give you, you know, your usual 2 and 20, 2% of the value of the trade, which was about 8 cents, I think, or six cents. Hey, Selena, welcome. And maybe it's as simple as would have been as simple as buying selling the 85 mid. Instead, we're trying to dance around it. Hey, Michelle. Okay, we got people coming in late. Guys are probably at work and taking an unscheduled coffee break. Let's go back here. 64.75. First time here. Hi, NASDAQ. NASDAQ 100. Today's your day. You got Nvidia today. I said it this morning. I said it yesterday. I've been saying it for a few days. I like the software names for contrarian play. MongoDB and Okta paid me. MongoDB not as much as it was supposed to because I put in an order at a little bit below the mid and they never filled me. I still think there's room for a catch-up trade in software, unless the market gets really nasty tomorrow with Nvidia and PCE, in which case I would still look to do it. Hopefully, the market being 1% lower. So, what's 1% of here? Let's go say 60 points, which would still put us down at 64.25. Remember when 64 was a number that was like, hey, we're never getting there? 65 and 66 are now. And 65.05 is a JP Morgan collar. Oh, first time viewing the stream of the close. Okay. So you have a pin idea? My lotto was the 85 on the call side, over 85, which I didn't get filled. And so I went for this one with my new partner. 70s seemed unlikely then. It's even more likely now. 75 is a little far. It would be kind of hard to get there. Now let's talk about why I wouldn't think 75 would be a high probability setup. Not to call you out as a teaching moment. We have these 80 puts. I suppose you can make a case for these 80 puts, but in the meantime, charm, these are decaying. Let's take a look at the charm. So charm is basically theta. Think of it that way. The rate of decay of delta. And as you can see, this is suppressive. The suppressive is lifting itself up. Now we're just in this floating area. At this point, it's a difficult discernment over or under. This was a much easier trade in the morning when it was an 80-90 call for about 250. Oh, my calls got filled. Okay. So now they both can't be right. So let's put in the calls opposite. Let's at least see if we can make back the money on the puts. A lot of times you can get filled on both of these on the way out. TT, it looks like you steered me wrong. 85 pin. Rules of the game where you have to be over under a round number by a penny. 84.99 or 85.01. I mean, yes, you could buy a just for fun. So this would be an 85 pin would cost you 255. 88. I hope you're right because that makes these pay pretty good. Okay, my calls just closed $2. So from 80 cents to 205. A conservative 150%. See that? I left money on the table here. And this lotto is dead. Now it doesn't mean I could get lucky, quote unquote. I mean, I made my money here, paid for this lotto also, so that's okay. Of course, I'd like to at least get some of my money back on this, but doesn't, I don't know if I want to pay these crooks the commissions. This was 80 cents to 205 in like 2 minutes. Let's see if I can get at least some of my money back. There you go. We might be able to squeeze a couple cents out of it. Let's get greedy. Should we get greedy? I'm gonna get greedy. 45 cents we can get out. Come on, well, I got 2 minutes left. I'll take 40 cents just to see. Now there's no bid on this stuff, so it's going to be hard to get out of the whole fly. Okay, I got out. All right. So 50 cents. So I spent what we spend on that. We spent 80, and 80 is 160. Now we got 205, and 40 is 245. So 245 on 160. That's good. Okay. Thank you for playing, everybody. I see that those 84s, if I had held them, son of a gun, I got paper hands. Now it's 70 cents, 60 cents. Now it's 35 cents. You know, these, especially at the end of the day, especially if you're entering the end of the day, can I please post the trades I took? Sure. I don't know. Can I don't know if I can get them here. Okay, so let's see if the screenshot will go in there. Can I get the screenshot in there? Paste. No, it's not letting me paste them. I'm going to go to Twitter. I'm going to post them in Twitter. Now I'm seeing myself. Isn't that cute? I'm going to post them in Twitter. So these were the two trades. And this is 245 on a 160. Oh shit, if I had held on to those 85s, I would have gotten paid. TT was right. Pencils down. Thank you, Boomer. There's there's the close. Pencils down is right. Oh, now we got Nvidia. What time do they post? Do we want to stay on for Nvidia for fun? Okay, so I posted the TT. I posted the trades in. Yes, I did. I'm sorry. I know. I know. I got paper hands. I kind of do and kind of don't. Depends. What time do they report? If they report at like 4:15, I'll hang around. If they're hanging out till 4:30, I know. I'm teasing you back, TT. I'm teasing you right back. So what time does Nvidia report? I think they like to pull out the drama. Market on close $1 billion to buy. IWM high of the day 236. F5. Whoa, Nutanix getting smoked. That's an interesting company. I've traded these guys back and forth for years. NTNX. So let's see what time Nvidia reports. NVDA. Where's the thingy that tells me what time they report? Where's the appearance? Show corporate actions. Where's the? I want to see volume. Will that show the earnings? I think we stay inside the expected move. I don't know if up or down. I think maybe down like 3 points, 5 points. But special dividends here, right? Forget that nonsense. Let's see if this. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Let's see what time earnings after the bell. Well, that doesn't tell us anything. Conference calls at 5 o'clock, but let's see if earnings whisper tells us anything. Where's the list calendar? Oh, come on. I always have problems with these people. I pay, I subscribe, and I get the emails, but I can't ever get this website to work right. I used to get it to work right. Let's see what happens. We'll do NVDA. If not, we'll go to. Anybody have NVIDIA? Here we go. Overview news. Cookie policy, accept. Come on. Whatever. Dangerous site. Forget this nonsense. Maybe that's why it doesn't. I don't see any price action in NVIDIA. Let's take a look at Seeking Alpha. Hey, I'm supposed to see that. News. All news. Where's their market data? They have earnings somewhere. Top news. Okay. Video game maker. Let's just try NVDA. Blackwell Robotics. There used to be a thing here that had on the news thing that had earnings. Just in earnings. Looks like they reorganized it. Agilent, NetApp, General Dynamics. All right. They report in 15 minutes. Thank you. You gave me good information the last time. I'm going to take your information again. Good job, Selena. 2 1/4 filled at 270. Put $45 in your pocket, and that's that. So they report at 4:15. I'm guessing. Let's see what we can see. Let's take a look here. So now I'm going to pull up my buddy's mentor Q. Maybe, oh, 420. No, I didn't. A lot of Nvidia. I'm too old for that shit. I mean, I was thinking of doing a diagonal. Truthfully, I just didn't have the time to set it up. Let's see what we got here. So the big gamma strikes are kind of where we'd expect them to be. Whoop, I'm not on Nvidia. Duh. Um, and okay, here we are. Earnings. See, I had it right here. 4:15. These guys say. I didn't do a 1DD trade today. When we got earnings and PCE tomorrow and unemployment numbers, I expect it to go somewhat, stay somewhat within the expected move. And now that you're tempting me, now that you're tempting me, that doesn't look bad. See how you're a bad influence. You're a bad influence. That's a 10 wide. That's a 10 wide. Buck 15. Buck 10. I'm going to do that. Or if you wanted to do a 5 wide, it's only a quarter. You have to go like 90. See, that's decent. We tried putting them in individually. I still got a couple minutes. That's 55 for that. That's 50 for that. I'll take 45. Okay. So I got that filled. 1, 2, 3, 4. Buy to close 50%. I'll try and squeeze an extra couple pennies out. Okay. Yeah. So I went. So Selena's saying she was thinking 45, 50. I just went away from the round number. Okay. Now the iron condor filled. Uh, So what I usually do when that happens is I have half of it in at 50% profit on each side and go the whole thing, and then do each half at 50% profit for the others. When I do two small, this is kind of a small trade for me. This is kind of a messing around trade. Okay. Okay, so now let's take a look. Let's do this quasi intelligently. Which really I was supposed to do this before I put the trade on. Oh, this doesn't work. This is the beta site. Let's look at depth view. Easiest way to see where the bodies are buried for tomorrow. Come on. Yes, let's take a look. Whoops, market maker, position number. Okay, so for tomorrow, how are the big how's the big money positioned? Okay. Big money, well, there's 1,700 puts sold and 3,900 calls bought. Okay, so the 60/50s are sold. So I don't want to be, now yeah, 45s are sold too, but I don't want to be in front of them. Not saying that we're going to go there, but I'd rather have that shield at my back than, have the shield in front of me than have the shield behind me with this over here. Again, I don't think we're going there. To the bottom, I got all the way, I got pretty far down. 6390s are sold. And what did I end up selling? I ended up selling the 6385s. So even though I didn't check it right away, so I sold down here, we're below the 90s, and we have these 85s for Friday that'll also come into play somewhat, especially near the end of the day. And I mean, above 75, but there's no juice up there. And then above the 50s on top. So that's kind of the way I was thinking that. Does that make sense? I mean, it makes sense to me. But okay, 4 minutes. So anybody? So first of all, will Nvidia end up will it be green or red? Well, I'll even make it easier. Over 180 or under 180. Let's start there. Red. Yeah, I'm thinking red, but not bigly red. I'm thinking like, 77 and a half, 75. Yeah, slightly below 180. Yeah, that's kind of 77 and a half, something like that. Right. And where it closes tomorrow. and all that. Now, the interesting thing is that calls were relatively cheap. So the bigger money was either betting on a drop or more likely hedging. If the whole world is long Nvidia and you're an institution, you probably have a collar on of some sort. So do those long puts, 3 minutes. Let's look at gamma edge for a second. Okay, so we don't need to see this. We want to see. Okay, what I wanted to see was invert. I see a lot of calls, probably a lot of sold calls. If all these calls are bought, I remember these are bought, if they're bought in elevated IV, you have to exceed the expected move for the market makers to have to hedge to chase. So we have 59,000 puts right down here at 72 and a half that either will realize or will decay. And we got a lot of people betting at 85. We got some more people betting up here at 87 and a half. Now, we don't know if they're sold or bought. Let's see what next week looks like.
I think they just published it.
Okay, I see Nvidia looks like it wants to go green. Nvidia looks like it wants to go green.
There it is.
Well, I guess they didn't miss. Okay, I know all this professional visual resident. We got all this stuff here. Show more. Okay, here's all this crap. Revenue 42 billion. Net EPS a dollar eight. So it's $4 earnings. Revenue data center. Gaming revenue, but that's a small part of the data center up 56%. Okay. Oh, look at that. Big red bar. What happened? What happened? Who they shoot? So who's buying Nvidia after the bell? Maybe it's all China news. Yeah, could be. Good, good possibility. Who bought the dip? Revenue above estimates. I never looked. I never even clicked on that before. I don't have to worry about it. Close tab. No, close the tab. There you go. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing here. Is this the one I want? No, where's the one I want? That's not it either. Did I close the tab that I don't want to close? So I never know how to find it again. Crap. I closed the tab that I don't want to close. Oh no, this might be the right one. This is the right one. Okay. It's not really the right one, but it's close enough to the right one. I can figure it out later. I'm looking at SPX go down to 50, not a big deal. If anyone knows how to use TradingView, can tell me how to get the chart that I just closed. No, this isn't right. This is some old ass crap. Charts, all layouts. Where's the layout that I had? Okay, somehow I didn't save the chart that I had. All right, whatever. I'll have to figure it out later. Looks pretty dramatic, but 175, 5 points. Does buying ES counts? Yeah, it counts at least for 8%. All my Substack experts, how do I find a tab that I just closed by mistake? Oh, here it is, recently used. Okay, but how do I open recently used? Huh? What happened? How do I open recently used? Let me make this a favorite. Okay, there we go. Anybody know how to open recently used? Ah, here we go. I did it. Yay me. I'm ready to get a job doing tech support for TradingView. Okay, so we bounced right down to, where did we go? All the way down to 170. And now they're going to do the conference call, and yeah, thanks. I found it by mistake over there. Let's have some more fun. Let's like make it a 3 minute shot so we can really see the drama. 177. So, had you had the courage of your conviction and gone in and bought it at 172, 172 and a half, you could have stolen 5 points and gone out and fed the goats. So my unofficial official prediction was not exceed the expected move with a loss, with a a red thing. I said it on TV or on YouTube or whatever. So let's see. I used to be pretty good at the stock business. That's how I made the money to use on all my credit spreads and stuff. It has zero H2. China says were made based on customer. Invaded China business came to a screeching halt last quarter. Good. It can only get better. Max bad news. 60 billion stock buyback. Never hurt. Thanks. This was a gift. Are we going to end up closing flat and I'll be wrong? I mean, whatever. And let's see what SPX did based on this. Probably went down to 50 and then bounced. Yeah, went down. Ooh, undercut 50 and bounced. All right, 4:30, getting close to go time, but about to go out and do the goats. What's this? Oh, thank you. You taking them out? Oh, okay. Okay. I like to take them out to do the goats after the market closes. Okay. Yes, I do. It's part of the package. It's part of the package. Let me, I think I put the link in up here, but let me put it again. Let me just, I can find what I'm looking for. Now this, we're trying to get set up yet. I don't know if it's live, just because it's the admin is easier there, but that will get you into the Discord. Or this I know works, and DM me and I'll get you in. My stream is still running. Okay. Anyway, let's just go back to NVIDIA one last time. We're just kind of hanging around. So it looks like those calls and puts, looks like the iron condor will be okay. So we still have PCE, so that's only half the battle here. NVIDIA is down, what, roughly 5 points. So NVIDIA is 8% of the SPX. And what is it down? Like what percent? It's down about 5% or something. So it's probably about zero point 0.2, not even 5%. It's probably about good for 1.5, probably about good for 0.15, 0.20 SPX point, 0.15, let's say, back of the envelope. Anybody that's got a calculator, I think that's probably what it's good for, 15 SPX points down. Okay, it looks like 75. 75 was like a reasonable place to think it might go, and we'll still see tomorrow. A lot of football left to be played. And again, with Jensen Wang doing interviews on TV and with his leather jacket and all, how can you how can you not buy a silver-haired tech entrepreneur with a black leather jacket? I mean, come on. Nvidia breaks sales record despite Chinese trade hiccups, Wall Street Journal. So look at how the headline spins. To whatever extent this goes down, this will be bought up, if not today, whatever. I'm going to go out on a limb and say the all-time high for Nvidia has not been reached yet, and the all-time high for the year has not been reached yet, and maybe even the all-time high for August, but certainly not for September. I'm willing to go out on a limb. Because I don't know if you guys saw the headline this morning. I don't remember if it was a headline or an interview or something that they're working on a new China chip, a new China approved chip. How much you want to bet that their engineers will figure it out? And wait till he starts talking about robotics and quantum computing and spinning this vision of the future where, like, or it's okay. Anyway, I'm going to go now. I think we had enough fun for one day. How much fun can we have? Okay, take care, everybody.